Hello, Phyllis. I'm Kanisha Leggett. I am one of the occupational therapists working here today. I'm coming in to complete your evaluation. I will be going through 4 assessments with you today. One will be range of motion. And so, what that is every joint has a range of movement that is considered to be normal. It is a set of numbers ranging from 0 all the way up until 180. Each joint has its own set of numbers from 0 to a specific number that considers it to be normal. So we will be measuring your shoulder, your elbow, your wrist, your hip, and your knee. Now you can go down as small as to measuring also joints in the finger and the toes, but we won't be going into those today. Typically, range of motion can be measured while you are laying down or seated. For our purpose today, we will complete ours while you are lying down, just because we haven't assessed your sitting balance yet. Okay, so what range of motion does is I will ask you to complete a movement, and if that movement looks to be within the normal range, then we'll move on to the next set of movements. If it does not appear to be in the normal set of range, I will pull out a tool called a goniometer, and I will use this tool to measure that joint so that I can get an accurate number to see how far away from the normal measurements that you are. Plus, that will allow us to use those measurements to document your progress when it comes time for you to be discharged to go home. Now, the goniometer has 2 arms that rotate. When we're doing the movement, the stable arm will remain at what we will call point 0, where your movement will start from, and then we will let the other arm move along with your arm so that we get an accurate measurement of your range of motion. There are numbers around the top of the goniometer, and that number will be written down stating from 0 to, for instance, with your shoulder, possibly 180 degrees. Okay? So what I'll ask you to do is similar to this. I will ask you while you are laying flat on your back to place your arm straight out at your side with your thumb up on top, keeping your arm extended. And if you will simply bring your arm up nice and slow like this for me, as far as you can, comfortably. We're not trying to push into pain. I don't want you trying to push the arm back. Just nice and gentle raise that arm up for me. That's the way we'll go through each and every movement. I'll demonstrate the movement to you first, then I'll ask you to complete the movements. If you look like the movements that you're completing are within the normal range, I'll move on to the next set of movements. The next test that we will be doing is the manual muscle testing. And this test grades your strength based off a combination of gravity and resistance. So, I will ask you to place your hand and arm in a position, let's say for instance, with your elbow bent next to you. Perfect. And then I will place my hand over your forearm and I will apply a small bit of pressure. What I will ask you to do is to simply try and resist me. So first, before we begin, I will ask you to place your arm back in that position and bring your arm up. Perfect. You can bring your arm up completely and back down nice and slow. Excellent. Once I know that you can actually complete the movement, that tells me where I'm starting from. So I know I'm not starting at 0, I'm automatically starting at 3 because you can complete the movement against gravity. Now I'm going to place my hand over your forearm and apply a small bit of resistance. I don't want you to let me move your arm, so you try and resist me pressing against you. As I see that you can tolerate the small amount of pressure, I will give more pressure to you. And I want you to continue to resist all the way until you can. No straining though. And that is how we'll go through and complete our manual muscle testing. That will give me an idea and a observation of how you function with resistance and against gravity. Next, we're going to go through the sensation assessment. This is where I will ask you to close your eyes and I will touch various parts of your body on your arms, your face, your legs for you to tell me if you can feel me touching you. This lets me know whether your sensation is intact or not. This is important for us to know before beginning the intervention process in order for us to make sure that you will not only be able to feel the sensation, but it lets me know if you have issues with heat or temperature or pressure so that I can be aware of that when choosing the interventions and setting goals for you. Okay, so if you will close your eyes, I am going to touch you in a few places and I want you to tell me whether you can feel my touch or not. That's the way we will complete the sensation test. Next, we'll move on to the balance assessment. Now, with the balance assessment, we will start with sitting. A balance assessment can be completed for both sitting and standing. And another term that we like to use is static and dynamic for both sitting and standing. Now, static means that you are able to sit by yourself without holding on to anything or without me holding on to you, with your knees bent at 90 degrees and your hands completely flat on your knees. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and bring your legs over to the edge of the bed and sit up. Good. And place your hands on your knees for me. Excellent. And let me just see you sit there. Perfect. Next, we're going to try and see what your dynamic sitting balance looks like. Now, what that is I'm going to have you lean to your side, going down to your elbow, completely over. Good. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you to push yourself back up to what we call midline. So you're back up straight and centered looking at me. So let's try it again. Let's go down to your left side, all the way to your elbow. And now, without me touching you, I want you to try and push yourself back up to the center where we are back face to face. Good. Now that we've seen you can weight shift safely side to side, left and right, what I want you to do is take your left hand and lean forward and reach out and touch my finger. Good. Now, go back to sitting up correctly, hands on your knees. Now, I want you to take your right hand and reach out and touch my finger again. Good. So now we are testing whether you can safely reach away from your body with leaning and then come back upright and back at the center point without losing your balance and without assistance. Excellent. Next, we're going to test out your standing balance. So I'm going to place the gait belt around your waist. Do you have any abdominal issues, any pain, any surgeries, any open wound areas that I should know about in your stomach area or going around your back? Nothing? Okay. We'll place the gait belt around your waist, and then I'm going to ask you to use both hands and push up from the surface that you're sitting on and just stand straight up. Once you're up, you can either place your hands here on the walker or you can place your hands on my shoulder once you're standing. I'm not going to help you. I want you to try and push up as much as you can to come up standing. Excellent. Okay, now I want you to sit back down, but what I want you to do is try and turn and see where the seat is, and then reach back with one hand. Once you have a hand on, slowly begin to lower and then reach back with the other hand so that both hands are on the item that you're going to sit down on, and slowly lower yourself into the seat. Do not plop. Excellent work. Now, I'm not going to test your dynamic standing balance because your static standing, which is just you standing still, balance required some assistance in order for you to maintain standing still. But we will progress to you being able to stand and us test your dynamic standing balance of having you reach while you're standing. So today, Phyllis, we've gone over your range of motion, your manual muscle testing, your sensation test, and your balance test. We've got some great numbers to start with. We'll get the evaluation completed and we'll start working on what goals you'd like to work on in order to get you home safe. Again, my name is Kanisha Leggett and I'm from the Occupational Therapy Department with KUMSOT. Thank you.